Hey guys, so today we're going to be making a quick local area ad. This is designed to basically increase our notoriety in a certain area. So we're going to go to the advertisement section, then we're going to go to create new ad, like so. So what are the issues here at the moment? First of all, welcome to our fantastic Italian restaurant. We can do better. That's not humble enough. So welcome to our Italian family restaurant. We can now see that we've got Italian flags either side, and we've got "we would love to see you," be very, very friendly and open. Select products. We want to get rid of products that do not look particularly, actually that's not too bad, that do not look particularly dazzling to the audience. So we want to pick ones which are going to stand out and just look pretty. So there we go. I also want to get rid of that coming soon one, so we'll go with one of the flagship products. And yeah, that should be all right. Just going to check through again. Yeah, that's just a visual bug there. So where are we? We're going to have a little look here. So people in our local area is what we want to do. And we want to pick around 4 kilometers, 4 or 5 kilometers. I'd rather make it as dedicated as possible. And what we want to do is, I'm going to be doing this over a period of time. So the most important thing is keep it low, right? We want to keep it low at first, just because we're going to be reaching a reasonable amount with that. With, say, £15 for the area, we're reaching a lot more accounts, but I'd rather keep things exceptionally cheap at the moment for this one, because this is an example. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add our information. Now, to check up on our ads, and this is going to be really important, we're going to go to the ad center, which is really, really cool. So we've got the details on the ad, which is currently still in review. We just got to wait for Facebook, which is a pain in the neck. So we can basically control the ad from here. We can see a little bit about how many people have clicked on it, the cost per click, the views, the reach of the ads, and we can generally see how the ad is going to function. We can also edit the audience, which is absolutely great, and if we really, really, really want to, we can delete the ad and stop it. Okay? Well guys, it's been 2 days, so we're just going to go quickly to the ad center and see how well we're doing. So 326 spent on one ad in the last 60 days. We are going to ignore views. Views are absolutely meaningless, and we're going to go to view results. Okay, now we're not aiming to get link clicks. That's not the important part of this ad. What we're focusing entirely on is reach and engagements. Now, when it comes down to things, reach is not really that valuable a metric. Okay, so basically what the views determine is they determine how many times the ad's gone out. However, the reach is the amount of people who've had that ad on their screen a certain amount of time. That will change with Facebook and the way that they do things. But what we're going to focus on is reach and engagement. So if we look at it, we have a that's 23,679. That's around 29. 1 in 29 engagement per reach. Now, I like to go with engagements per reach to determine whether or not an ad is being successful or not. At the moment, I'd say that's not too bad, because I've seen much worse. However, we normally get a lot more engagement, so I'm just going to go and show you. So we're going to go to Insights, and we are going to go to your page. So post reach, total for the month 4,000. Post engagement is 1,100, so that's practically 1 in 4 versus 1 in 29. So whether or not it's effective, who knows? But actually there's a little bit of a catch. You see, one of the things is, the reason that our posts are doing well in this way is because we're cross-posting to different groups. So if we're actually having a little look at the posts that we've got, we are sharing them out to different groups. And because they're in groups, people who interact with those groups are more likely to see them in a certain way, which means that cross-posting to groups is very, very valuable. However, what we need to do is make sure that our ad is doing really, really well. Okay, and this is something that we can only determine over a certain amount of time. So what we'd have to do is run the ad for around 90 days, or even 2 months, let's say 60 days. And what we'd have to do is compare the reach versus the engagement. So the thing is, we know that we're hitting a wider audience. And the thing is, when you've got groups, if you're not seeing business from those groups, the reach and engagement is meaningless, right? So what you need to do is actually determine whether or not more people are coming into the restaurant. So what we've got to do is we've got to take a little step back. We've just got to run the ad for a couple of months, let that tick over in the background, which is absolutely peachy. And then what we've got to do is at the end of the month say, well, did we have more customers? If so, we can determine that because we're getting more of a wider reach than people who are in the local buy and sell groups and business groups, if we're hitting a wider reach and a wider audience, there are these numbers. The numbers are more valuable from the ad. So it's one of those things where you've got to kind of correlate this with your business. If your business is doing bad, you put out an advert like this. Even if the advert looks like it's doing badly, let's say you don't know anything about tracking, so you can't track customers into your store and everything like that. That's irrelevant. If you put out an ad and see how it works, and you start getting a lot more customers in, then you can determine that maybe the ad is it's better to put out the ad than spend all of your time sharing into groups. I mean, think about it like this. It takes about 10 minutes to share into 3 or 4 different groups, maybe 5 groups per post, right? So you got to build the post, you got to do everything, then you got to share it all out. It takes time. Building an ad like this, it took me a couple of moments, and on top of that, it's like if time is money, it's like you are the minimum wage. So you've got to think, well, if I spend 10 minutes of my life, what percentage of, say, £10 is that? You know, it's like you're thinking £1.60 to £2. So it's like if you think of all of the stuff that you put into getting a really, really nice post put together for Facebook, you got to take the picture, you got to wait for it to upload, all of that stuff, rather than using the stuff that's already prepared for you. Putting out an advert like this, you're saving yourself that time. So you're spending time in terms of money, and so putting out an ad like this can be really good. Now, what we're going to be doing is looking at whether or not the customers increase over the month, and then basically thinking, okay, is the ad going to be effective for us? Now, one thing you can do is you can put out several different adverts. If you've got the money to do it, that's great. Put out several different adverts, find out which ones are getting the best results. If you know anything about tracking, I'm going to be teaching you a bit about tracking on this channel. You'll be able to see how well some of those ads are doing. So hopefully this has been useful. This is just the most basic setup for an ad and the most basic looking at it and seeing whether or not it's effective. But ultimately, the numbers are not really that important. It's whether or not people are actually coming in and whether or not you can determine that with your advert. That's the later stuff though. This is just the basic part. Anyway, I hope that's been helpful. You have a lovely day. Bye.